on sponsorship. And we've been doing some studies during COVID, and this has been wonderful. So sponsors, and this is Canada and the US, but sponsors have immediately focused on not on selling their products. The sponsorship's been cut back by about 50%, but that which rests, it's about frontline workers, about mental health, about helping with COVID, supporting inclusion in the Black Lives, et cetera. Like everything's gone from, in the past, we kind of needed to have a cause. If it's not authentic, consumers don't like it, people get upset. So there's been a wonderful shift in what's left of the industry towards supporting these kind of things. And I mean, Nike is an extremely wealthy organization, and we all know that, but oh my God, have they done an incredible job in what they've done to bring attention to these issues. In any survey you look at, the ones that I've done and others, they are by far industry professionals. We had one with 57 industry experts. 54 of them said Nike was the number one performer what's going on in terms of what they're doing. They're losing money a little bit like everybody else, but they've really, really taken this on. And there's criticisms of these big companies, of course, but in terms of what they're doing and what it means, it's way, way, way above what most brands are doing. Right. So, I mean, there's some really positive things in there. And I think the hope is post COVID, and when the Black Lives Matter, hyper media tension at some point will fade or slow a little bit, that this remains top of conscience, top of mind, and top of what these brands are doing. Because as you know, they have way more influence. I got 4 kids. They listen way more to Nike ads than they do to me. So it's like, if you've got that kind of thing out there and these brands doing that and making it important and supporting the players and what they're doing. So at the pro level, those elite levels, very good things are happening. The level below, as I mentioned, it's really tough right now. But I don't know if that answers your question. There's a lot in there, but I think there's been some positivity and a role, but the industry's got to survive in the short term as well.
What's happened, I would say a lot of people now understand what sport philanthropy means. I think in the past 6 months, why we've with what's happened, what I find so interesting is a lot of the work that I had been trying to focus on was really support organizations in um, situating themselves more philanthropically. So I think what happens in sport is we do not do a good job at demonstrating our value. And so I'm talking about our national sport federations, any grassroots sport organizations, any organizations that are using sport to do good. We don't do a really good job at demonstrating how we are philanthropic to Canadians or to the population in general. And so a lot of the work I've been trying to do was shift and demonstrate that sport should be a charitable purpose. And in that space, I think what's been really interesting now with COVID is it's really shown a light on that. And it's really on us now to say, sport is actually what can save us, both physically and mentally, and the opportunity to just integrate play and to move our bodies, why sport is actually so important moving forward. I would also say that athlete activism is a huge component in sport philanthropy, and we're seeing that right now. To Norm's point, I think in pro sports, I've loved to see what's been happening and leagues being able to take chances, athletes putting the pressure on. We talked about like wanting to blow up the system and wanting to just burn it all down. Well, when you try to figure out where to even start with that, what has had such a tremendous impact has been the athletes, and the athletes putting pressure on the leagues and their owners. It hasn't really been a lot of the management that's taken those steps. Even at the very, very beginning, when the NBA had to cut their season short, we saw players stepping up to pay for employees, not even the ownership. And so I think it's been really interesting to see how quickly it shifted, how quickly, the NHL was dragging their feet a bit, and then they had to change their tune right away. And so I love the pressure that's being put on the leagues in this space, because I think hopefully we'll see a trickle down effect. I think sport philanthropy is more important now more than ever, and there's so much conversation that can come out of that. I think also, the whole idea of shut up and play is just completely out the window. I think our athletes are leaders in this space, and really coming up with solutions that are going to help. So just even the idea in the US of opening up arenas to help increase voter capacity, and all of the problem solving that we're seeing. And so, I think in this space too, there's so much room for excuses and so much room for just sweeping things under the rug. And I love that people are just being held accountable right now. And I think there is so much good to come from that.